let's take a look at a few different types of lightsaber hilt pommels. So on the far left, we have a solid pommel. This is from Ultrasabers. Next to that is an open pommel or vented pommel. That's also by Ultrasabers. Next to that is a custom saber shop open pommel or vented pommel. And finally on the far right is a pommel with sound holes. So let's talk about some of the differences. First, we have the solid pommel. You would only use a pommel like this for a stunt saber with no sound or kind of a display piece. And the reason for that is because if you use this on a sound saber, you're blocking the sound from coming out of the saber, and you could also potentially damage the speaker and some of the interior. So you definitely do not want to use a solid pommel like this with a sound saber. Now, next to that, this is a vented or open pommel, and Ultrasabers will often use a pommel like this with their sound sabers, and it's, like I said, so the sound is able to come out of the speaker. Now, this custom saber shop one, this is an open pommel, but they do also have some pommel inserts that you could put in here, and it'll have kind of some sound holes in it, kind of like this one on the end, but you can also just use the pommel in the same way that you would use the Ultrasabers one, and the speaker, you'll just be able to kind of see the speaker in the end. So I guess I could show that. Let's see. Here's an Ultrasaber sound saber, and the speaker's in here. It's kind of dark. So if I install this custom saber shop pommel, it's just kind of open on the end, but that way I'll turn it on. That way you can hear the sound. Okay, and finally here is a pommel with sound holes, and it functions very similarly to the open pommel. It's just not as much sound can come out when you have a a pommel with sound holes, kind of like this. So I know sometimes there are certain pommels, if the sound holes are not very large, like this is another custom saber shop pommel, and you can see there are just a few sound holes around here. So some of the reviews for this pommel will say that it kind of muffles the sound on the saber a little bit more. Well, you know, I tell you what, I'll try this out on this same saber I was just using. This Ultrasabers Apprentice V4. I guess I could keep that on camera. And we'll see how it sounds. So very big difference just having a few sound holes like that versus a totally open pommel. So I can at least tell the sound is quite a bit more muffled, but I do think some of these Ultrasabers lightsabers are a bit loud, so maybe it's for the best. But anyway, that's just kind of that's some of the main differences. So solid pommel, definitely only use that for stunt sabers or display pieces. Open pommel is best if you want the most sound, you know, coming out of your saber. And do keep in mind, if you get pommels with holes in them like this, that they could kind of muffle the sound of your saber a little bit. So that's just kind of some of the main stuff you should know about these different types of pommels.